This is going to be a short video, which I'm trying to embrace doing. I don't have to be so invested and in-depth that I end up doing hour-long videos about a 20-minute episode because I just have so much to say, Izu. But essentially all I want to talk about is how we really can't have disabled or chronically ill characters without really ableist jokes, can we? A video recently released showcasing a few gorgeous soundtracks with Baiju just existing peacefully and beautifully, and poor Baiju has really been through the ringer, hasn't he? First people kept completely making up crap about his character, and now his story quest has come out. You can't do that anymore without being objectively wrong, so now it's just lol, chronic illness is funny. Which is frustrating, because you rarely get good disabled or chronically ill representation in fantasy stories, right? And when you do, it's just full of people arguing that illness and disability can't exist in fantasy because reasons. And especially after the way Elazar was really weirdly handled. I assumed I now had a finite time to enjoy Baiju before his story came along and ruined it, but I was wrong. Baiju, at least to me, is such a good example of how you can absolutely have chronic illness in a fantasy setting with magical healing powers and do it right. You can even have a magical reason for the chronic illness and still do it right. So it's just infuriating and a little bit depressing how under this gorgeous video of this amazing character representing chronic illness so nicely, you can have such nice comments calling him breathtaking, only for dozens of replies to say lol, chronic breathlessness is hilarious, haha, cause he can't breathe. Even after a global pandemic, coughing is just so funny. Great, that's really good to know. So to all you asthmatics out there, next time you have an asthma attack, just remember, it's funny. Thing is, you can't say anything to these people, or you'll just get told you must be fun at parties, because, as we all know, comedy must specifically be targeted towards minorities, or it's just not funny. You can either be ableist, or homophobic, or transphobic, or racist, or you can be boring. That's it. Those are the two personality options. Arsehole or boring. And people might say, why do you care so much about what a bunch of pixels might think? Which honestly, even if I agree with you, just that phrase, a bunch of pixels, makes me not care about whatever you have to say. I mean, way to think that everything exists in a bubble. No, I don't think the fictional character of Baiju will care what you have to say, but shockingly, characters have people behind them. So for example, now Risley has been released, it seems he wasn't intended to be blind, which is fine, I don't care. But that doesn't make all of those comments made about the possibility go away. People thought it was ridiculous to speculate that he might be blind because he was seen reading something, which means those same people would think the same about real blind people. Fair enough if you thought he wasn't blind because you didn't think Hoyo would do enough research to portray blindness in that way, but that's not what people were saying. And so if your response to the theory was, he can't be blind, he's literally reading, then you're a part of the problem. Because, I mean, I don't know how common it is, but it definitely happens that real living people who are blind can be walking down the street with like the full gear with a white cane and a guide dog, hear a noise, look in that direction, and then have people pointing and going, you're not really blind because your eyes work. You're not blind because you heard that thing. Like, it's ridiculous, right? And that's where the issue was, not who they were saying it about, because I don't think the fictional character of Risley gives a crap. But what they were saying in the first place was an issue. And it's the same issue here. Oh, sorry, how funny of me. So you have to laugh now, I'm hilarious. It's the same issue here and now with Baiju. I don't think a bunch of pixels is going to care that they're making jokes at their expense, but the fact that they even think to make those jokes means they find something about being ill funny. And it's frustrating because I'm not saying everyone who didn't know a blind person could still theoretically read depending on the situation. Blind people mostly don't just see black. You're not a bad person for not knowing that. I think if anything, that indicated an issue with the education around disability in the first place. It's not your fault if you don't know, but like, something happened somewhere for the majority of people not to know. Such a basic fundamental thing of sometimes, of not all blind people are 100% blind. Like, surely that's a thing we should know, but this indicated that we don't. So, like, that indicates a broader issue of just a few people not knowing a thing. But you're not a bad person for having been educated badly. The problem came from the people who were being told that that actually isn't how it works, and just flat out refusing to listen. Not knowing something or having wrong information isn't your fault, and that doesn't make you a bad person. But if you're being told that this thing you thought you knew is actually not true, and here is the case, and here are the resources to find out, and oh yeah, I should know because I'm blind. I'm not, but people who were saying, you know what I mean. If people are telling you this and then you're not willing to learn, then that reflects badly on you. It's okay if you don't know every single thing there is to know about being blind, but if an actual blind person was to tell you that that isn't how it works, and then you just say, well, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, then that's what makes you a bit of a dickhead. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, making jokes at the expense of someone who's portrayed as having breathing issues is a lot different than believing misinformation outright and refusing to accept when you're actually being told, no, this isn't true. But I like to believe that these people are probably young. They probably grew up around that kind of humour. They probably don't understand why such comments are such a problem. If you try to tell them that, you'll get told you must be fun at parties, which is a super original thing to say, and you're so clever for thinking it. I hope what I'm saying makes sense. I'm so exhausted. If you are still here, thanks. Thanks for listening. Can't wait to see how horrible my model looked throughout the entire thing, because I've been messing with settings because it kept jittering about the place, and it was really irritating to like jitter about and then freeze, and then jitter about and then freeze. But now I feel like I may have overcorrected and I may just be moving really sluggishly now, but you know what, that's a fair representation of me anyway. So right, I'm done. I'm leaving it there, and I'm not speaking about it again. That's a lie. Of course I'm going to speak about it again, but I'm ending the video before I can start rambling, okay? Because I know me and you know me, and I can easily go on about this for hours if you let me. So don't let me. I'm trying to stop doing that. Civvy.
I lied, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just reading you a few comments and then I'm leaving, okay? Because the original one was just this really lovely comment saying, this is just Baiju being breathtaking for 3 minutes and 43 seconds. And like, you're right. You're absolutely right. That's exactly what this entire video is. Thank you. This is just Baiju trying to breathe for 3 minutes and 43 seconds. Coughing for 3 minutes and 43 seconds. Like, do you guys not read the other replies before commenting? There weren't that many. There were like 12, for crying out loud. And then there's this really creative person just saying he can't breathe. Which, I mean, good on you for breaking through of the mould. I'll give you that. And then finally get this one comment saying, a random pharmacist with a talking snake on his neck that can be found coughing anywhere is breathing 3 kinds of air for 3 minutes and 43 seconds without coughing. Truly magnificent. And I'm just like, have you played the game? We are now discrediting the character and his accomplishments and everything by calling him a random pharmacist to make an ableist joke. Great, thanks. Okay, now I'm leaving. Genuinely, I promise this time. Civvy.